The next video is the next installment for Animals Are Smarter Than Jack, and we're up to Besieged by Bandicoots. I don't know if there is an animal equivalent of the old swagman's marks on the fence that alerted the gentlemen of the road to places that were good for a meal and a few bob. If there is, our fence must be covered with messages to the effect that soft touches live here. It started with possums, then magpies, then bobtails, and finally bandicoots. It progressed from an occasional crust of bread to a regular supply of peanuts. At times as many as 4 bandicoots show up of an evening, all in search of a handout. They come in through the porch cat door and, if the dish is empty, they bang it on the bricks until someone comes out with peanuts. 2 of the bolder ones will enter the kitchen and come into the living room to peer at us until we get up and find the peanuts. The cats don't seem to mind the bandicoots, and on occasion I've found one or both cats eating kibbles from one side of the dish while a bandicoot eats from the other. Until recently I wasn't aware the bandicoots had learned anything from the cats other than how to use the cat door and where to find the kibble dish. The other night showed me how much more they'd learned. I heard something scratching on the front door, which pulled my attention from a not very interesting television show. Getting up to let Harley or Topaz in, I realised that both cats were already asleep on the sofa. What was trying to get in the front door? Switching on the outside light, I saw a small grey brown animal crouched on the ground. I opened the door slowly. "What do you want?" I asked. With a small woof noise, the bandicoot trotted into the living room. Its nails clicking on the tiles, it padded across the room, through the dining room, and stood waiting by the back door. This manoeuvre had saved the beast from having to walk all the way around the house to its usual entry point. Great. "Now I'm a doorman for bandicoots," I said, opening the back door and watching the little animal trot out onto the porch. There it grabbed the edge of the empty dish and banged it on the brick floor. I sighed and filled the dish with peanuts. The bandicoot began eating, looking over its shoulder at me every so often. I found a few wrinkled grapes and added them to the dish. I returned to the sofa. One of the cats opened an eye, winked and went back to sleep. I sat pondering the saying, dogs have masters, cats have staff. Obviously this applies to bandicoots also. I am comforted by the thought that if St. Francis ever gets door duty at the pearly gates, I'll be a shoo-in. And that ends that installment for Animals Are Smarter Than Jack.